Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday. Big news just dropped. Derek Lunsford has announced he is doing the Pittsburgh Pro. He did it at the end of a chest training video that he just dropped on his channel, Derek Lunsford on YouTube. Let's listen to what Derek had to say.
It's the first year that the Pittsburgh Pro is going to have open bodybuilding. You know, for me, I felt like the spirit was telling me the day after the Olympia, you have to do the Arnold. And like I said, I'd had it in my head that the Pittsburgh Pro was something that I wanted to do this year. You know, like I said, I'm very hungry and ambitious to compete. I've only done the Mr. Olympia for the last several years, so I wanted to compete more. As I just mentioned with the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing, I feel that the Pittsburgh Pro is going to be what I would call a legacy show. Meaning if you have that Pittsburgh Pro title, that is a real notch in your belt. That is a real title that you can carry with pride. With that being said, the position that I'm in right now, having just come off of the Arnold Classic win, to do the Arnold Classic, to do the Pittsburgh Pro, and to do the Olympia all in the same year and be victorious in all three would be another monumental, historical moment in bodybuilding history. So for me, that excites me. That's what gets me moving, gets me out of bed, and makes me hungry as ever to get after it every single day. So that being said, that's the announcement, is that I will be doing the Pittsburgh Pro. So I'm very much looking forward to standing on stage with these guys, and then of course I will see everybody at the Mr. Olympia this October.
There you have it. I mean, I didn't think he was going to do it, to be honest with you guys. I thought he would carefully consider the fact that peaking 3 times within a 7-month time frame, 4 months within a year, might not be the best strategy if he wants to be the second man in history to have lost the Mr. Olympia title and then get it back. The first was Jay Cutler back in 2009. And this is in a 60-year history of the Mr. Olympia contest. Only one Olympia champion has lost the Olympia title and gotten it back. And that was Jay Cutler almost 16 years ago. What do you guys got to say? Smoke Dog, 5 minutes late. Was I 5 minutes late? Well, I didn't put a time on it. This actually, I would have come out with this sooner, but my dog needs walks every morning, man. He has a big poop twice a day. If I don't take him, I worry. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is great for the fans. Make no mistake, the Pittsburgh Pro was going to be a great show anyway. We had Nick Walker, Martin Fitzwater, good Vito, I heard, is jumping into it. Crezo looking awesome, and now Derek Lunsford. My goodness, it's going to be a hell of a lineup. Yeah, just ruined a lot of guys' days. I'm thinking Nick Walker, realistically, it would be very hard for Nick Walker to beat Derek Lunsford. Derek, especially all he has to do is show up looking the way he did at the last Arnold Classic a few weeks ago. Let's go to that. Let me show you that again. Why not? While we're talking. So is Nick beating that? Is Martin beating that? I don't think so. You know, Martin almost beat a much worse version of this at the Olympia a few months before, but I don't see him beating this version of Derek. So they're going to have to do another show. Luckily for them, there's plenty of shows. I know I'm already saying these guys can't beat Derek. Yeah, you know, anything can happen, and they might beat Derek, but it would be very tough. Luckily, the New York Pro is 1 week later, May 17th. The Cal State Pro, the 10th. Let's see, hold on. Pittsburgh is the 10th. New York Pro is the 17th. And the California State is the 24th. And then you have the Legion Sports on 31st. So every weekend for 3 weeks after, there are going to be 3 weekends after this in a row where these guys, anyone who doesn't manage to beat Derek, will have their chance to qualify for the Olympia. Remember that Fitzwater is already qualified for the Olympia, so that's not a concern for Martin. So will he do Pittsburgh and then another show if he doesn't win Pittsburgh? I could see him doing New York. It's only a week later. You know, it's like I said, I would probably just hang out on the East Coast, somewhere in that general area. It's a very quick flight from Pittsburgh to New York. You could even drive there. It doesn't take that long. So, Walter Martin, I'm glad he's doing it. I want Nick to have to try again. Since Nick joked about my, oh, did he really? What a jerk. But this makes a great show. So glad I got my VIP tickets. I mean, any fan of the sport, we want the shows to be stacked. We want to see Olympia champs, Arnold champs, all the best guys on stage at these shows. That's what makes it exciting. It's never that, we talk about weak shows and strong shows. We want to see strong shows. Those are the exciting ones where it's a few guys who are very, very close and they're very, very good, duking it out up there. We have a leaner, meaner Derek. You're doing Ashley K. Oh, Tina, thank you. Tina Carlson, because I looked on my YouTube analytics and only 4% of my viewers are female. So thank you for being part of that 4%. I very much appreciate it. Nick is not going to like this. No, I mean, in Nick's heart of hearts, Nick is a warrior. Nick Walker, I'm sure he still believes he can win. You have to believe you can win if you're going to be at this level competing, because if you're training for, in your mind, second place at best, how are you going to put out 100% effort into your cardio, your training, your diet, your posing, everything that goes into a prep? You have to believe you can win. And I'm sure Nick still believes you can win. And you know what? Crazier things have happened in this sport over the many, many years I've been part of it. So I wouldn't say there is no way Nick Walker or Martin Fitzwater can beat Derek. No way. But if Derek comes in looking the way he did, I don't know, guys. It would be very, very hard. It would be very, very hard. Just put the Arnold back up there. The next question is, what about Samson? Would Samson now come out maybe and say he's going to do it? I don't see that happening. But again, crazier things have happened. And again, Pittsburgh is the inaugural Pittsburgh Pro. First time they ever had men's open. There's only one first Mr. Olympia. That was Larry Scott. There's only one first Arnold Classic champ. That was Rich Gaspari. Only one, I guess you could say New York Pro, but I can't remember who won the first New York Pro because it was Night of Champions for many years before that. But it is a prestigious title, and it is being promoted by Jim Mannion himself. Jim is the president of all of this, everything. He's the leader of all this. The pro side, the amateur side, the IPB Pro League, the NPC. He's the man everybody wants to curry favor with. They want to get on his. They want to please Jim because he's the godfather. He's the one that started all this. He started the NPC. He's the one that broke off the IFBB Pro League away from the IFBB, which became IFBB Elite. So, a lot of these guys feel they owe their livelihood to him. Yeah, can't imagine Derek peaking 3 times in a year. Who's your favorite for the Olympia now, Ron? Well, John, the only guy who's going to be fresh for the Olympia is Hadi Choopan. All these other guys will have competed prior to that. So, it's a really good chance Hadi Choopan could get his title back this year if you believe that doing multiple shows and peaking multiple times within one calendar year is detrimental if your goal is to be your absolute best at one particular show, in this case, the Olympia. So who knows, man? Who knows? It's the winning moment for Derek there. Who's my favorite for the Olympia? I mean, by that logic, I would just say Hadi Choopan would be my favorite, but who knows? I also think Samson got kind of a wake-up call at the Arnold, losing to Derek, basically just on conditioning. If Samson had been in much better condition, there's no doubt in my mind he would have beaten Derek. He's got a better physique. He's bigger. He's got better overall shape and structure. He just wasn't as lean. And Derek had him. He had him dead to rights on condition. Kalyan, you send me all the updates, but I follow all those channels. You don't have to send me. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. But when breaking news happens, that's the thing about YouTube is you can't be that quick on YouTube. I guess I could have if I hadn't walked branch, but it's much faster to make an Instagram post than it is to make a video because you have to have a thumbnail, set up the stream. It takes a few minutes anyway. Where an Instagram post, you could make that in 2 minutes easily. Walter Martin, I hope Martin does New York. Walter, you're close to, what show are you doing, Walter? It's not Pittsburgh. You're competing sooner than that, right? Correct me, Walter. I know I see your updates every day, and you look like you're not that far off. Pittsburgh Pro is going to be a great show. Good Lord, it's basically Olympia. I mean, it's not impossible that Samson won't jump in. We might hear by the end of this week, Samson Dauda coming out and saying, I'm going to do the Pittsburgh too. Can you imagine that? That would make the Pittsburgh Pro, very close to the Olympia lineup. We'd just be missing a few key guys, but certainly it would be the second best lineup of the year after the Olympia. So it's right up there with the Arnold. You would have, no, it would be better than the Arnold. You'd have Samson, you'd have Nick, Derek, Martin, Krizo, Vito. That'd be insane. Thank you again, Tina. Jack Todd's great news. Sport about being competitive. Nick can still win. Yeah, I have to back up and say it's going to be very difficult. It would be very difficult for Nick Walker to defeat Derek Lunsford. It would not be impossible. Nobody's unbeatable. Derek came into last Olympia as the reigning champ. A lot of us thought he was gonna carry another title, second Olympia in a row, but he got beat by Samson and Hadi. So stranger things can happen, guys. Less than a first-time Arnold class. Let me put something other than myself up there so you guys have something to watch. You see classic first call out. No, we don't watch that. Put Derek from his Olympia win. Now let's put Nick Walker up there. Heck, why not? I know we're not talking about Nick, but let's give Nick a little love and put him up there while we're talking. When was the last time a first-time Arnold participant also won it beside the Arnold Classic? It was Flex Wheeler right after that. I mean, well, actually, everybody was a first-time Arnold participant the first few years, but Flex Wheeler won that in 93. I would have to go into the Arnold Classic archives, the records of who won what. But it's happened a few times. It's very rare that a first-time Olympia competitor. It's even rarer, I should say. It's pretty rare for a first-time Arnold competitor to win. But Olympia is even more of a rare occurrence. Was it Jay the only one back to the Olympia title? Yeah, Jack. So far, Jay Cutler is the only one who has lost the Olympia title and got it back. So who's done it? Who's lost the Olympia title since then? So right after Jay, we had Dexter had won it the year before. Dexter lost it to Jay. Phil Heath lost the Olympia title to Sean Roden. Was never able to get the Olympia title back after that. He didn't compete again after that. Rami lost his title. Everyone else has lost their title and has been unable to get it back since. Henry, since the last Mr. O, Derek has improved, but Martin has too. I agree. Derek is the favorite, but Martin has a great structure, can win the Pittsburgh Pro. Oh yeah, Martin's no joke, guys. Don't get me wrong. Find some Martin footage while we're talking about Martin. It's only fair, right? Keon, Simpson, Derek. I got footage of a lot of guys loaded up, guys. Where is Martin? Oh, here we go. There's Martin at the last Olympia. Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's worlds apart from Derek. Derek has better arms. Martin's legs are a little better for sure. Derek's back is better than almost everybody's back. Okay, John. So good news for Martin Fitzwater fans is every weekend in May is a pro show, a men's open pro show. Third, there's none. I shouldn't say that. So the 10th is Pittsburgh, probably going to be Derek. New York Pro is the next weekend after that, the next Saturday, 17th. 24th is the Cal State Pro out in California. And the very last weekend, the last Saturday of the month, 31st, is Legion Sports. I don't know if that's Vegas or Reno. But anyway, that's 3 more chances, 3 more shows in the month of May for anyone who does not manage to beat Derek or, it's not a foregone conclusion that Derek will win. It's very, very likely that Derek will win Pittsburgh. Certainly, he's got to be the favorite on paper. And I don't think too many of you guys would argue. What do you think? I mean, what are the chances of any of these guys beating Derek? Tell me in the comments. If you're watching this later, tell me in the chat now. Nobody's unbeatable. Everyone can get beat and does get beat unless they manage to go out on top before that happens. Lee Haney retired at age 31 at his 8th Olympia win. Had Lee kept going, is it possible he might have lost the Olympia title to Dorian Yates in 92, 93? It's very possible. It's very possible. Other guys, Ronnie didn't go out as a winner. Ronnie kept going for a couple of years after he lost the title. So it's one of those things, man. The Olympia is the cream of the crop, and I don't know if anyone's ever going to do that again what Jay did, but you never say never. Just like we've been arguing, are we ever going to see a 6, 7, 8-time Mr. Olympia champ? I don't know. I don't know if we ever will, but is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Raymond Joe's Derek must not see Derek as a threat. He's risking a lot doing the show. Yeah. I just because he doesn't see him as a threat, I think he can still see him as a threat, Nick Walker as a threat, and still proceed because, he wants to win regardless of who's there. And I don't think he would take these guys lightly. If he took them lightly, that would lead me to believe he might come in at something like 90%, 95%. Not as good as he looked at the at the Arnold, and still coast to a win. But Derek's a champ. He's not gonna go in half-assed and anything less than his best. Chris Aceto, his coach, he wouldn't do that either. They both have reputations and their pride. They wouldn't show up with Derek anything less than 100%, his very best. I'm sure he takes Martin very seriously because Nick damn near beat him at the Olympia just a few months before the Arnold. I don't think he takes Nick Walker lightly. Nick's a freak. He's a monster. He's a 2-time New York Pro champ, an Arnold Classic champ, 3rd place at the Olympia, and he's looking crazy and freaky. Linda Murray lost for Olympia title. Kim Zevsky. We're talking about men's open, Kalyan, but thank you. Appreciate that. You got a good point. It has been done. I mean, if you go across different divisions, maybe it's been done in other divisions too. Clearly, when I'm talking about this, I'm typically only talking about men's open. But yeah. Raymond, this will shut all the haters up, said Martin was pushing Derek at the O. Assuming he beats him. Yeah, assuming he beats him, which, I don't see why he wouldn't beat him. We got any Olympia footage to go back to? I like my Olympia footage. Classic second call, Bumstead, Olympia routine. I'm sure I got some stuff there from it. Classic Olympia, Nick Walker. I like to put up footage while we're talking, guys. Let's just put Derek up from 2023, his Olympia win, while we're talking. So if Derek lost to Martin or Nick, 2025 would be the greatest Olympia of all time. I still think it's going to be a great Olympia because we have Hadi coming back fresh, a year off stage, a whole year to focus and train just for the Olympia. Samson, who took a big chance competing in the Arnold Classic that he might lose to somebody, and he did. He lost to Derek, so a reigning Mr. Olympia beaten. And the only time we've seen a reigning Mr. Olympia beaten during his reign was Ronnie Coleman back in, I think it was 2003. Shortly after the Olympia, he lost to Gunther Schlierkamp at the GNC Show of Strength. It was either 02. It was 02. And then he came back a year later with 20 pounds more muscle because he was so pissed off. But yeah, I mean, that would, if he lost to Martin, that would set up crazy drama because then we would have 4 guys who had an equal chance of winning: Samson, Hadi, Derek, and Martin. It's already going to be a great, great Olympia. But you're right, that would make it, just like I always said, if Samson lost the Arnold Classic this year, which he did, that would make the Olympia more exciting because Mr. Olympia just got beat, and now he's going to be that much hungrier to keep his title. Not that he wasn't going to be motivated and hungry, but he just got beat at the Arnold Classic, and that, for the reigning Mr. Olympia to get beat, that's a big blow. Is anyone confirmed for New York Pro? I don't know. I haven't heard. I'm guessing most of the lineup from Pittsburgh is going to be at New York Pro because it's only a week later. It's in the same part of the USA. It would be silly for a lot of these guys. They're already in shape. It's typical that a lot of guys would hit a couple shows in a row. Like the Cal Pro is always right after New York Pro. So I remember like Nathan Diasho won the New York Pro and the Cal Pro, and I think Tony O'Burton did that too. It's been done a few times, I should say, because they're back to back. And just because you've already got your Olympic qualification doesn't mean, I better stop competing. If I'm that guy, I'd be like, why don't I just take a 6-hour flight to California in a few days and go win that too. Why not? Walter is doing, Walter, shit, you're Detroit Pro. That's coming right up. I should remember that. So Detroit Pro is this Saturday, guys. Walter Martin will be in there. Who else do we have? We got Hollingshead, Bonac, Carlos. I don't know about Carlos. The list is not out yet. Is it out yet? Sasarati. I'm gonna have to take a look at the list, guys, while we're on, because now you got me thinking about it. Because Detroit Pro, I'm going to be doing a watch party right here on the channel because it is a free live stream on Fuad Abiyad Media. Detroit does not have the list up yet. Not yet. Hoping that's going to come out very, very soon. I just checked on, I'll show you where I checked. I don't want to invite. So I'll show you guys a real cool, if you're not aware of this, all the websites to follow for schedules. This is ifbbpro.com. ifbbpro.com, guys. If you want the schedule, it's got the pro schedule. All the shows there by division. You just click on the tab on the left, men's bodybuilding, and you can look at all the men's bodybuilding shows for the year. You can go to results and look at scorecards from shows. All kinds of cool stuff on that. So that's ifbbpro.com, guys. Check that out. Stop screen. All right. And put some more stuff up. I was going to put up something while we're talking because, again, I don't like to just have you staring at my weak-ass mug all the time. AC. We'll leave this up. Let's leave that up while we're talking. Leave that on loop and get to your comments. Here we go. Mr. Rogers, I think Derek will be fine. Peak a couple times a year. He's young. He's even double-digit pro shows yet for his career. Yeah, he has not done a lot of shows. He has not. In fact, I think I ran it down one time. I can even do it by memory. 2017, he won the USA. He did the Tampa Pro that year. Tampa Pro, he was he won that. That was his pro debut. He did the Olympia that year. So 2 pro shows in 2017. He got 5th place there. I think he took 2nd place at 18 to Kamal at the Olympia. 19. Did he win it? He's done mostly Olympia contests. Most of the shows Derek has done have been Olympias. 212 Olympia and Open Olympia. 3rd biggest prize money. I think Dubai Pro is also giving away $100,000, but I don't know if the breakdown. So I saw the breakdown. It was all even numbers. 100,000 for 1st place, 50,000 for 2nd place, 25,000 for 3rd place, and I think 15,000 for 4th. So you win as much for 4th place at Pittsburgh as you would for winning almost all these other shows, because the new minimum prize package is $15,000. It was $10,000 for about 20 years, and they didn't raise it. They didn't raise the amp. Zen Fitness. Derek won Olympia. I don't think he's in some jeopardy. Let's be honest. He won all about it. Oh yeah. Derek doesn't need to. He doesn't need to do Pittsburgh. There's no compelling reason why he has to do Pittsburgh. But as he explained in the video, he wants to be the first Pittsburgh Pro champ, Open Pro champ, because it's a legacy show. There's only one first-time Mr. Olympia, first-time Arnold Classic, and he believes that this show will. It's already a big money show. It's going to be a title that everybody wishes they had first. So that's his reason. Everyone's copying Mr. Only going to take each other out. Mr. Dowda. I mean, the Masters, Hottie's really the only one who's going to be fresh. I agree. Samson, I hope Samson is resting up and going to come into the Olympia all guns blazing, better condition than we've ever seen. Doesn't need to be any bigger at all. But if he does that, if Samson shows up in condition that we've never seen, I still think he'll beat everybody. He's just a better bodybuilder physique-wise than he's taller, he's wider, he's got rounder, fuller muscles. He'd be unbeatable if he was in shape. I mean, in better shape, in better condition. It's not like he's out of shape. If he was in crazy, dry, grainy condition, Derek wouldn't risk doing the show if he thought he would lose. Oh, yeah. Derek doesn't need the prize money. He just won $500,000, guys. And I don't know what Jocko Fuel was paying him, but it's probably pretty damn good if he left Evogen. And I'm sure Hani was paying him well for Evogen. So I would imagine he's either making as much or maybe even more than he was making with Evogen. No one really knows except for him and his accountant and his wife. Leave a like for Ron. Thank you, Jack. Massive respect to Samson. He's paved the path for more top guys compete. Why are the best physiques in the world showing once a year? Well, John, I think that it's because it's a risky move. These guys are so much bigger now than they were in years past. And, I venture to say the PED part of the sport, it's probably a little more intense than it was in years past when guys competed more often. So that's taking a toll on them. So I totally get it. Monica Delgado, de Mexico, unbelievably shouldn't, because the perfect time to make good small off season. Yeah, you're not the only one, Monica, who would think this is a mistake for Derek. I mean, leave a comment below, guys. I was asking in the video a few days ago, should Derek do the Pittsburgh Pro? And a lot of you felt he should. A lot of you felt he shouldn't. I'm curious now that he's actually made the commitment. Do you still feel the same way? Do you feel this is a great idea? Picks up another $100,000, reasserts his dominance, possibly beats two front runners, Martin and Nick. And if he beats Martin and Nick, I mean, it's very safe to say people won't be talking about Martin or Nick beating him at the Olympia. It would just be a matter of Samson and Hadi would be the guys to get past. None of those guys are going to be easy to beat. None of them. Derek loses Martin after beating Samson. It'll make the Olympia title look weak. Not necessarily, Raymond. I mean, it would just show that maybe it's best for some guys to not do so many shows. Yeah, that's the argument. We want them to do all these shows. We say they're lazy if they don't do a bunch of shows, or they're just afraid of losing to some this or that guy. But by the same token, they're putting their bodies through a lot with all these preps. And these are human bodies. These are human beings. Their bodies need time to heal and rest between prep. Prep is very demanding on the body with the diet, the chemicals, the overtraining, all the cardio and the training. It's a lot of training. I mean, I remember Chris Aceto said, if you want to do your contest prep right, you have to walk that fine line of overtraining. You can't just, contrary to what Dorian and the Mike Mentzer fans would have you believe, you can't just go in the gym 4 times a week for 40 minutes. And you can't just cruise in with no cardio. Those days are, for most people, that's not a successful strategy. I think Derek's a little full of himself now. I mean, if you like a guy, you'll view it as confidence. If for whatever reason you don't like a guy, you'll perceive that as arrogance. So is he full of himself? That's in the eye of the beholder. Does anyone know what payment is for other two shows, 2 places on Arnold Classic podium? I was $500 for first. I think it was, I want to say it was $200 or $150 for second. It's very hard to find prize money breakdowns. They don't usually list those publicly. You'll see them occasionally, but those aren't really make. You bruised bare ego by saying you thought he wasn't really going to do the show. That's the real reason he's competing. Well, you'll see I got my Team Lunsford shirt on. Derek did give me a couple T-shirts. Samson never gave me a T-shirt. Otherwise, I'd be wearing Samson T-shirts on these lives. But, no, I don't think Derek even know I did the. Actually, he liked the. I think he liked the Instagram story, but I always invite these guys to collaborate on the Instagram post, and very rarely do they. And I get it. Why would they help me out with their 3 billion followers? Didn't bodybuilders in the 90s go on European tours? Yeah, Ryan, because they had European tours back then. Typically, what they would do in those days in the 90s, European promoters would have a series of shows, a Grand Prix tour, usually twice a year. They would do one in the spring, so that the guys who just did the Arnold could hop over and do anywhere from 3 to 8 shows that the promoters would set up all over Europe. It would be quick flights, maybe like UK one day, Paris the next day, then they have the week off, and Italy, Greece the weekend after that, Russia and Czech Republic or something the weekend after that. Yeah, and then they would do the same thing after the Olympia. They would usually have the Olympia always had post-Olympia Grand Prix tour. But there were more than a few times. I want to say almost every time in the 90s, they had spring tours. Derek, actually, I can show you something. I'll show you something. What the heck? Why I want to show you how many shows guys used to do. We'll take a look at Milos. If you want to see how many shows these guys used to do. So Milos, he's a good example because Milos competed a lot. Cormier competed a lot too. All right, so yeah, because we talk about the '90s guys, I think it's worth a look here, guys. I want to show you how many shows there used to be in a row. So this is Milos's competitive record. 91, his first year as a pro, he did Grand Prix tours in Denmark, England, Finland, Italy, Spain, Switzerland. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 6 Grand Prix shows all over Europe in a row there. I don't know if those were before or after Olympia that year. Same thing in 92. He did Grand Prix shows in England, Germany, Holland, Italy. 93. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Grand Prix shows. Yeah, so you could see in the 90s that they had all these Grand Prix shows, these Grand Prix tours, which gave a lot of I didn't even present the screen. I didn't present that. Sorry, guys. My bad. Let me get rid of this. I have it on a loop. Okay, so here you go. So I was showing you all the Grand Prix shows that like Milos used to do, for example, because Milos is a good example. 91, you can see they had 6 Grand Prix shows in a row that year in over Europe. 92, 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row he did there. 93, he did 1, 2, 3, 4. And where they say 2, if you see the number 2 next to it, that means there were 2 Grand Prix shows in France that year and 2 Grand Prix shows in Germany, 2 different shows. Same thing here in England, and then France, they must have had 2 Grand Prix shows there that year. Cormier's another guy to look at because he did a ton of these too, so I'm betting he was in there. No, he wasn't in it. Kevin did a lot of Grand Prix shows, Dillette. Anyway, you get my point, guys. You get my point. All right, back to the comments. Derek only did 1 show last year. It didn't pay off. He dropped to 3rd place. Yes, should do it. Simpson with Mr. Olympia doing multiple shows. Yeah, Charles. Sampson's a good example of someone who's competed successfully multiple times in the same year. Once guys get to the Mr. Olympia level where they've won the Olympia, it does become a little more risky. You know, Ronnie, I think Ronnie, he said back in 2001, he would never do multiple shows a year because he did the Arnold Classic that year. And then when he was getting ready, preparing for the Olympia that year, 2001, his body wasn't responding. He showed up at the show, at the judging, not looking his best. And Jay Cutler beat him in the judging. I think what happened was he almost quit the show. And then Chad gave him some sort of diuretic that dried him out. And he came back and he was able to make up the difference and win the show. But it's a gamble. Now, Ronnie said after that, he believed he couldn't peak twice in 1 year. That doesn't mean he really couldn't. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe that was his body and his metabolism. But to say that about other guys, you know, everybody's different. Some guys have shown they can look fantastic. But we've also seen a lot of guys who look much better at the spring shows than they do in the fall shows. Flex Wheeler was notorious for that. There have been a few guys who traditionally, year after year, if they did spring shows and the Olympia and the Grand Prix shows, they always look better in the early part of the year. March will be phenomenal for Bach building. Look forward to these shows. Yeah, Tony. Well, the May is going to be a big year. I mean, we've only got 1 more pro show for this. We've only got, March is almost over. April, we don't have any pro shows for Men's Open, but May we have 4. Pittsburgh starts off, so 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. 3 out of the 4 Saturdays in May, we have a Men's Open Pro show. We have Pittsburgh, New York Pro, Cal State Pro, and Legion Sports, all bam, bam, bam in a row. Yeah, April's going to be nuts. That's what you meant to say. March ain't bad. I mean, we had the Arnold Classic, and it was a pretty damn great Arnold Classic. And this Detroit Pro happening Saturday, which, guys, please join me on this channel. I'll be doing a live watch party. Big Mike Cox, if you're out there, I'll get him on there. He's awesome. Love doing show coverage, live show coverage with Mike because he's got that eye for bodybuilding. And he says it like it is. He doesn't pull punches, talks about the physiques and not the personalities. That's how it needs to be. He listed every show in the 90s and every podcast these days. Yeah. I don't know. I hope he'll do mine again one day. Hope to see more Europeans in these shows like Christian Wolski, Krizo. Yeah, Krizo, I'm glad he's doing Pittsburgh. I imagine he'll do, like I said, I think everyone that does Pittsburgh, unless they win, and maybe even if they win, is going to be in New York the next weekend. It makes so much sense. It'd be silly not to do Pittsburgh Pro and New York Pro. And of course, we're going to have a lot of guys who didn't get their Olympia qualification. Now, Fitzwater's already got his. He doesn't need to worry about it. But Nick Walker needs that Olympia qualification. Krizo needs his Olympia qualification. Good Vito will probably get it. Vito's actually probably going to get his 2 weeks, a week after Detroit is the Arnold Brazil, Arnold South American Brazil. And I'd be very, very surprised if Vito doesn't win that and get his Olympic qualification. Sean Ray would call it. Sean Ray's short. Like, I don't think he would use the M word. It's only taller guys who like to call shorter guys midgets because it kills taller guys. It kills a lot of fans, especially if they're tall, to see their favorite tall bodybuilder get beaten by a shorter guy. Oh, these midgets. But, I also hear guys like Giles has said, he likes to see the taller guys. A lot of people they see more aesthetic beauty in the taller physiques. They're taller, they're wider versus the shorter, more compact physiques. Not as aesthetically pleasing when you put all that muscle on a much shorter frame as it is when you have like a Samson or an Andrew Jacked or a Krizo even that's a guy who's 6 foot tall or better. We keep arguing about Samson's height. 5'11", 6 foot. It's all the same for me, guys, from down here. Definitely will listen to Watch Pride. Thank you for great work. Power Hour will be on next. Yeah, we're doing a preview of Detroit Pro. Giles and I, we were going to do one last year. So we're hoping to get that up tomorrow. We need to have the list. We need to have the list up to get the full roster for Detroit Pro. But the next Power Hour is coming up. Thank you for asking. If you guys have your notifications on, you'll always know when Power Hour or anything is popping up in your feed. But yeah, we're going to do a Power Hour. I'm also working on some other big interviews. So I think I'm going to take off, guys. We got Martin has gained a lot of muscle. He's a great physique. Good Vito is freaking amazing. I agree, Monica. I'm very, very impressed with both of those guys. And Krizo, I'm very impressed with Krizo, how he's looking right now, too. Krizo is looking fantastic. So, all right, guys. So that's it. That's been the big news. What's this? Who you call midget? I mean, why you got to call him that? Awesome news, Mayor. Yeah, midget's a bad word, guys. It's a derogatory term. So just say a shorter guy or shorter statured man or actual. You can't even use a midget to describe actual people who are clinically disabled because they're very, very short. They're called little people. It's all forms of dwarfism. There's many, many different types of dwarfism. So. Yeah, if you go back, Derek, M12, it's the very beginning of this video. I rolled a minute and a half of Derek's new chest training video. After 35 minutes of chest training, PC. Oh, politically correct. Yeah, after 35 minutes of chest training, Derek did make his announcement, talked to the camera and explained that he is doing Pittsburgh Pro, and he explained why he's doing it. So he's doing it. Anyway, guys. That's it. Derek is in. Don't skip me, Ron. Well, no, Giles has not been handled from another man. I don't know what you got against Giles. Giles is my bud. Smart move from Derek. Don't think it's a smart move from Derek. I mean, it could backfire if it ends up affecting his ability to peak 100% in October for the Olympia. Then, in retrospect, it will have been a bad move. Right now, it's $100,000 in his pocket, another $100,000. He just had $500,000 that he took home from the Arnold Classic. This would be another one. He just opened up his own gym. So, and he has a young baby girl. I'm sure the money can come in handy. Make that money while you can. Anyway, all right, guys, that is it. I'm going to take off. So thank you all for watching. Derek Lunsford is doing the Pittsburgh Pro. Risky move, Smart move. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.